Hello, I'm here live on the YouTube. Learning some new things, trying some new things. It's all part of growing up, growing older, learning new skills. Oh my goodness, I already had some technical difficulties, but hey, it's the first one. So, oh my goodness, let's see who's here. We've got a few people actually here, and I'm kind of excited. Let's see, I'm in Ecamm Live. If you don't know that software, I highly recommend checking it out. It's Mac only. But anyway, all right, so here's what I'm going to do. I got to find my comments. So my first comment, GMedia, hello. I think that's a former student. Yes? Stuck on the name. Sorry. This happens when you get old. And then my YouTube friend Tom. Hello, Tom. He loves the lava lamp. Yes, that was a special lava lamp cam brought to you by iPhone 8, connected by USB. So here is what I'm thinking we're going to do. So if you have some questions, please add them in the comments. And I'll be glad to answer those. If I don't get any questions, I'm going to take you on a little journey through time of my experience here in YouTube land and a little bit about how I got here, I guess. So, yep. Gabe, right? Gabe? And I also got Jacob from class, some Art 147 students at Highline. How cool, how fun. Actually, I had Jacob's mother as a student too, so it is a small, small Highline world. How do I turn that off? Okay, I gotta remember how to, oh, turn it off, turn it on. I'm learning new things. And Tom's wife, my YouTube friend Tom, his wife Heather is saying hello too. Oh, that's so sweet, Heather. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And then we go to, hey, my wife, Debbie. Hello. How fun. The internet is alive. And then I got Gabe. Hi, Gabe. What's new? What's happening? So cool to see you in a little window on my screen. I guess it's better than the Zoom windows in class back in the day. So anyway, and there's Mr. Jacob again. Yeah, it's fun. One of the things I love about teaching, and I hope to have happen in this community on YouTube, is meeting people, getting to know them a little bit, having almost like a relationship as much as we can through short, what's the word I'm looking for? Short conversations, little snippets. We get to see a part of each other's lives, and it's in the midst of not being able to travel very much or get out and even see beyond the four walls of my house and my home. It's nice to meet some other people. So thank you, thank you. Yeah, so good times. Good times. Some people actually here. I'm so surprised and just kind of tickled. Yeah, you can probably tell I'm a little blah. But if you've ever had me in class, you know that is not uncommon. Anyway, and Miss Heather again saying hello and hi to Debbie. You know, we're coming up on our Heather and Tom. I know you're coming up on your first anniversary. We're coming up on 35. 35. June 14th. Flag Day. That's what my dad said when I told him the date. So anyway. All right, so we're here in YouTube. Let's see. What should we talk about the journey so far? I don't know what I expected when I first started doing some YouTube stuff. I started 6 years ago. I looked it up, and my first video I posted was a time lapse for a client of mine. It was a photo time lapse of an installation of some signs at a Honda dealership. And that's kind of what I did. It was mostly for their work for them. So what next? So then I kind of fussed around with it. I didn't have a game plan, an intent, but here we are. And sometimes that is pretty much the journey of my life. No game plan or a plan, but then the reality takes a few twists and turns and left turns and right turns. So I'm kind of the example of the unplanned life that turned out better than expected. So, anywho, oh, and Heather's saying, "Congrats, amazing for Tom and I to celebrate that." Yeah, I think I said this to Tom once in an email that he's kind of like me 20 years ago, or what I think of myself 20 years ago, but he's ahead of where I was 20 years ago, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, 35 years, more than half of our lives together. The journey together is pretty amazing. Ups and downs, and sickness and health, and being people together. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty nice to have someone just to hang out with. I highly recommend it. So let's see, YouTube journey. Jacob is saying congrats as well. Let me get that up on screen. There we go. Congrats, yay. That's a fun cat icon. I'm not up on all the social memes. The YouTube journey. So about 2 years ago. Well, let's actually do this. Here's the... this is very much like a class experience with me. It's a non-linear story, but it starts in 2011. So we'll start the story in 2011 when I first started teaching at Highline College near Seattle. And the story of that is even a funny story. I got a phone call from a friend of mine who was a former colleague at a graphic design company in Issaquah, Washington. And they were interested in bringing in a replacement photography instructor, long story. And they asked me to come in and meet and then just make sure I knew which way of the camera to point at what. And I started literally the next day. So anyway, I started the next day. It was just going to be a temp fill-in for I think 9 weeks of the 10-week winter quarter in 2011 in January. They had a replacement already lined up, I think, for spring and beyond. But then they brought me back in fall of 2011, and I've been there since. It was one class a quarter to start. Now I teach 3 classes a quarter, all photography classes, and I love it. I often say to students, if you want to get better at something, teach it to someone else. You have to understand it and be able to pick it apart and put it back together. And my photography has grown so much, and I understand it so much more due to getting to teach it to other people. So, a few years down the road, I was asked, hey, would you be interested in teaching this class online? This was probably been about 6 years ago. And I said, there's no way I could do that. There's no way I could teach this class online. I need to be in the room. I need to be face to face. I need to see. I need to show and hear see the looks on the faces and all that. Fast forward to 2019 when I kind of had to do what's called a hybrid class. So it was half in class, half online videos. And the reason for that was it was a summer quarter, and rather than teaching a 4-hour class two times a week, we went to a 2-hour class twice a week, and then the other content online. So that's 2019. Do you want to see what that looked like? Do you want to see what that looked like? Let me see if I can show you what that looked like. Let me get the right screen up here, and hang on a second. Let's make sure I get the right one. Ba-ba-ba. Oops, I don't want all of those. I just want the one. Let me minimize that. I was kind of watching along on the live stream to make sure it was all working. So this is my very first video I recorded for the hybrid class. Oh my gosh. Terrible lighting. When was it? Yeah, I think it was June 2019 in the classroom. Had 2 lights on They were the fluorescent bulbs, and there were 5 of them in a box in the soft box, 2 of them on each side. And the lighting was, you could tell I don't know much about lighting in a lot of ways. Well, artificial light, video lighting. I originally set them up, and they were creating all kinds of glare on the whiteboard behind me. And on my glasses, I had blue blocker filter on there, so he was getting all this blue on my glasses. So I just put them on the side, so you get this split light with this nice shadow in the middle of my face and my sweaty hair. And oh my goodness. Yeah, I cringe, but that's growth. We all start somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere and get better at it. Without that, we wouldn't get to the lovely scene we have now with, there's a total of 9 lights in here now, including the practical lights of the string light and the light in the corner. So I went from 2 lights to 9 lights, from classroom to office. And this office is a work in progress as well. I'll show you some photos of the progress of this office space that I've been in for 16, 17 years. Anyway, YouTube journey. So 2019, I start making videos, and then for class, and they got better through those 10 weeks of developing those, thank goodness. I started recording here. I can't record in front of other people. My door is closed. I know Debbie's probably watching, but I just have to pretend she's not. So I know you all are watching, but I don't live with you. So anyway, what happens? So still teach hybrid in 2019 in fall and 2020 winter. And then we were going back to regular class in spring of 2020. And you know what happened in spring of 2020? COVID hit. So we went from hybrid to fully online. The first couple weeks, first quarter, I should say, I taught on Zoom, which I totally did not enjoy. I saw lots of students' ceilings, saw lots of sleeping students. And so, yeah, that was, oh my goodness, that was not a fun experience. So I opted to go into a fully online mode, which means it's asynchronous, so students could do work on their own time. If they're at home under the stress of this, I figured let them work on their own time, work ahead if they can, work around work schedules. Lots of students that I am fortunate to have, are working jobs full time, have family, have tons of other obligations. So flexible schedule, especially in the midst of the inflexibility of COVID, I figured was a good thing. So I've been teaching that way since spring of 2020. So this is the 5th quarter. We'll continue doing that through at least fall of 2021. I'm not sure what winter 2022, I can't believe it's 2022, will look like yet, for my classes anyway. We're getting 25%, Highline's 25% classes back on campus in fall. Got my first vaccine on May 3rd, a couple days ago, and the last one will be May 31. So I will be vaccinated. What else? Let's see, the journey. Oh, Jacob has said kindly, it's seeing the process and evolution. I know, I love that. I totally love that TV show, how it's made, to see behind the scenes. And Tom is a great, if you don't, those of you that I know that don't know Tom, go Tom Buck on YouTube, go watch his channel. He's got a great, he's a great resource for both process, especially his podcast. Go listen to his podcast for process stuff. He helped me think strategically through what I wanted to do, give myself a better direction, think about some of the gear. I haven't bought everything that Tom has. I did buy a pod mic, but I don't have the Rodecaster Pro or A10 Mini yet. They're on the list. But YouTube, yeah. Hey, welcome. You're like in class. It's like, hey, let's do a dad joke while we're here. I love doing dad jokes because I'm a dad and I like to tell jokes. This is one of my favorites. What is it? How do you weigh a millennial? How do you weigh a millennial? You weigh them in Instagrams. I have another Instagram dad joke in a minute. Oh, hey, speaking of Instagram and speaking of non-linear thought processes, this video is kind of this live stream is kind of a celebration. I reached 1,000 subscribers, now at 1,300 and some change on YouTube, which I'm really excited about. I'll talk more about the kind of what got me over the hump of slow growth to all of a sudden a little bit of faster growth. And oh boy, yes, Debbie's. Here we go with the dad jokes. Yeah, but you know, I'm not great at jokes. I'm better at when there's someone in the room to bounce off of. But it's just me and the camera, and the camera doesn't talk too much. What was I doing? I was talking about something. What was I talking about? Oh man, this is what 56 looks like, folks. Your brain just goes. Evolution, dad jokes, class. Well, anywho, here we are. YouTube land. Oh yeah, 1,000 subscribers. That's what it was. And Instagram. That was the connection. I get there eventually. I just have to trust the process of whatever's going on in here. So here's also, I think it was yesterday, I have more YouTube subscribers than Instagram followers. My Instagram kind of, even I've been doing work at it, Instagram is just kind of poo. As far as, I mean, I'm glad to be on there, and I like seeing stuff. It's a good way to keep in touch and to learn some new things. But as far as, at least for what I do, the way I do it, my type of photography, my type of teaching, who I am as a human being, it's not insta-famous. It's never probably going to be. So, and I'm okay with that. Yes, Debbie is my straight woman. It's so true. So true. On our wedding day, this is who we are. This is a good little snapshot of who we are. After the wedding, no, it was before the wedding? It was before the wedding, yeah. We went to McDonald's all in our 86 tuxes and that with the bridal party. We went to McDonald's. That was pretty fun. All right. Yeah, YouTube, Instagram. I like YouTube better because I can learn so much from it. There's so much variety there. If I've got a little problem or don't know how to, like I figured out how to fix the power window on Debbie's old Mazda, her 2008 Mazda 3. Watched a YouTube video and bought the part and fixed it myself. Next up, kitchen sinks and bathroom sinks. Excuse me. Okay, I should take a drink of water. So the journey, YouTube. I imagine if you ask most YouTube folks, how, you know, was there a tipping point? Was there, here's your growth, here's your growth, here's your growth, and then all of a sudden, what was that? And for me, it was a video. Hang on a second, I'm gonna get a visual aid. Oh no, I'm gonna get it over here because it's in my bag. It was a video about this lens. This new-ish, still new, Fujinon 70 to 300 telephoto zoom lens. It came out in March, and it was kind of highly anticipated. It fills a nice niche for them, a nice Jacob, Jacob, when I just put up a frame that has my Instagram handle on it, M Slatic Photo. I think I'm following you on Instagram, or maybe it's us on Flickr. Anyway, this lens, the review. So I had a strategic thought. I knew people were going to be interested in it. I knew lens reviews and gear reviews, camera stuff does well on YouTube. It's popular content because it's gear is great to talk about because it's technical, it's specific. There's opinions involved, of course, but it's the nerdy kind of thing that is content that YouTube tends to performs well on YouTube. So my plan was to get the lens and get a review done within a few days, and then post that, and hopefully be one of the first with a first impression review. Not an in-depth review, not a spec conversation, but here's my first impression after my goal was to take 200 to 300 photos. And I did that. I got the lens on a Wednesday, took some photos on a Thursday, shot the video on Friday, edited, and then I think it was posted either Saturday or Sunday. And that video is close to 10,000 views, which is, for me, a lot. And that was the one where I started to see subscriber growth and daily views growth and all those kind of metrics that say it's not just students watching the videos for class, but there's a bigger audience. So that was the video that did that. And I've done a few other lens reviews, long-term ones, so kind of a unique take on a lens review, because a lot of the reviews that I'm not a fan of, I mean, I like them because it's kind of fun, but you can't review a lens in 2 days with it, especially if it's not a camera system you're used to. You can talk about, hey, it weighs this much and it's this size, but you can't. It's hard to talk about all the pros and cons and the little things and the personality. So I did a couple of reviews of lenses I've had for 6 years or longer, and yeah, those have performed well too. Now I'm into a series on videos about assignments, actually, that I give in class on composition. So I've done repetition, and the most recent one is point of view. This week's will be filling the frame, getting closer, and then we'll get into rule of thirds and all that good stuff. So that's the path. That's the fun. We'll see what's next after that. I have a couple. I'll probably do some prime lens reviews. I have a couple primes. I have some other thoughts. I kind of hope this channel will be a combination. Okay, so I'm talking about photography YouTubers. Sean Tucker, if you don't know who Sean Tucker is, I highly recommend him. I use his videos in class a lot. He's just a thinker about photography and a great speaker and motivator about deeper thoughts about photography. I call his stuff photography church. When I watch a video of his, it feels like I've learned something deeper in my soul. So that's kind of fun. So Sean Tucker, he does videos only about once a month, sometimes every 2 or 3 weeks. Also, speaking of Sean Tucker, I just pre-ordered his book on creativity. It's The Meaning in the Making, the why and how behind our human need to create. I bought it through bookshop.org in the US here. Saved 10%, plus my local bookstore got a commission on it. So it's a way to order online and still benefit your local brick and mortar bookstore, which is actually the name of my local bookstore. Brick and mortar books. So yeah, Sean Tucker, that book, it's a book about creativity, which a topic I love to think and talk about. So I want to have I want to have conceptual content in this channel. So thinking deeper. David Duchemin's and also a good one at that. Photographer up in Victoria, BC, or I mean Vancouver. He used to have a pretty active YouTube channel. He doesn't anymore. He's primarily doing his own stuff because he can own that content and monetize it better for himself. And then let's see, who's the kind of the other end of like the more gear side. Of the ones I follow, it's probably some of the, it's like Kai Wong and some of the other gear reviewers, where they're fun and funny and do gear reviews with some personality. So that's kind of a combination, somewhere in the middle of the synthesis of that. That's kind of where I hope to go with this. We'll see. This is an evolution. I didn't think I'd be doing this regularly, once a week. Plus, hopefully we'll do some of these lives once in a while as well. Just because they're kind of fun and interesting content, hopefully. We'll see. I'm not sure how long I'm going to go today. I'll probably go, maybe I'll go another 15 or so minutes. It's currently 10:29. Let me show you what the lava lamp looks like now. There we go, 10:28 on that clock. That's an iPhone 1, by the way. The original iPhone running an app called Flip Clock. Because I can't find a flip clock that actually works that doesn't cost $300 or $400. I used to have one when I was in my bedroom and when I was a youngin'. Anyway, yeah, I should ask. So Tom, I'm doing switching of video sources here. I don't know if Tom's still here. If he is, great. If not, no worries. I'm just using keyboard shortcuts. I wonder how much easier that is with the ATEM. I don't know. Yeah, what do I need to spend money on? All right, so direction of this channel. Hey, I thought, speaking of YouTube journey and kind of, we'll talk about the journey of this office next. So I'm going to switch. Let's go to, where am I? I'm going to Lightroom so you can see what this office has evolved from. We've lived in this condo 17 or 18 years. We're not quite sure. This is the third bedroom. It's about 9.5 by almost 10, I think. So it's roughly a square, small closet. I've had the desk in pretty much the same position almost all that time. So this photo is from 2009. This was an early configuration of this space. And my cord management has not improved very much. Look at this mess down here. In fact, I think I have more things plugged in. In a future live stream video, I'll have like a raffle to see who can guess how many things I actually have plugged into power in this office. There are a lot. Look at my awesome paper filing going on over here. My old MacBook Pro sitting on some, here, we'll go to the next one, you can see it better. No, I gotta go back here so you can do that. My MacBook Pro is sitting on 2 CD spindles. Scanner. Look at those DV tapes, mini DV tapes. There's a mini DV camcorder. Oh my goodness, 2009, folks, 12 years ago, but the technology has moved a little bit. Look at my thick, fat wallet. No wonder I had back pain. Yeah, paper shredder. There's some Marvin, the Martian memorabilia floating around. A picture of my son. Yeah, so that was 2009. I still, the things I still have from that time are the speakers, the tape and stapler. I have a different chair. I have the desk still. I'll show you the evolution of the desk. So here's a cleanup. So I went from messy. I can't stand it anymore. No wonder I needed so much Advil. 2 bottles there. And then here we are. In a day later, cleaned up, moved the M&Ms to a place of prominence. Look at all the hard drives, plus this portable hard drive at the time. That's where I think my photos were. Yeah, oh, I still have the mouse pad too. Yeah, so so I had some, my father-in-law helped me build some built-ins here. They went floor to ceiling. They were kind of handy, but they also made the room very dark and kind of closed in, and they limited some options. And I built myself, this is, Debbie and I joke, well, I joke, she just laughs because she's polite. Our motto, if we had a HGTV decorating show of our own, would be designed by Sladix, don't look too close, because there's rough edges and stuff like that. So I built this shelf and floated the laptop on it, and the Apple 23-inch cinema display. Jumping forward 10 years, so this would be 2019. This is when I would do talking head stuff like I'm doing now. This was the setup. I still had the shelf. I have just a mess back here. Look at this mess. Using my iPad as a third screen, I think. No, I was just using it as a screensaver, a clock. More Marvin. I've got this big Marvin puzzle that Debbie gave me and put together a number of years ago. Marvin the Martian. But I had my camera like right here in front of the screen. I was using the 23-inch as a what's it called? A monitor. So I'm kind of looking around it to see how framing, because this camera I have doesn't have a flip out screen. Good times. And then I was visualizing what would it look like with a darker wall. So this is a really bad Photoshop job to show what a darker wall would look like. And then I painted that wall in 2019. It was 2019? 2020. So I redid the room. Here's an evolution. And now I took the legs off the desk and I put 2 IKEA bookshelves underneath. Bad idea. Very wobbly. A little too tall for me as a not vertically challenged, but not very tall person. And also it really I had this much room for my legs, so I was constantly banging my legs. So I've revised this. We'll show some wide angle shots, some panos. This office is almost entirely brought to you by IKEA. I don't have I still have this chair in here. It's right here, but that's temporary. IKEA shelves, the shelving, IKEA lamp, IKEA picture frames. This what's it called? A locker is from my old college, just down the road, and this is we borrowed this iMac SE. Is it an SE? Yeah, Macintosh. Excuse me, SE, from my son's school when I think he was in 2nd or 3rd grade and never returned it. So don't tell Bellevue School District. And here's a kind of a head up above view. Here's a video shot, another evolution. So I've moved, I've gotten rid of the shelf on top and I've moved the camera into the middle. I have one light through an umbrella. And window light was the other light source. So I think I have some videos, photos, showing that. So that's what it's looking like. Here's the moody black and white, kind of self-portrait-y thing. Moving to 2 lights. There's my pod mic that I should probably start using more. Yeah. And do I have a picture of, here's a 360 pano. You know you could do 360 panos, did you? So this is a full spin around the room, including the hallway outside and outside window. Actually, this is an HDR pano. So there's like 15 photos in that or something. Anyway, here's the more current setup. I have a second light over here, a fill light, and then I have a video light, a real one, as opposed to a fake one. Over here on the right, my right. Yeah, so that's some of the setup, and that's what it looks like. So there you go. Let me switch back apps so I can see what I'm doing here and if I missed any comments. I apologize to Gabe. I did not answer this question. This is a great question. Have you ever thought of giving up? How did you get past it and continue? Giving up on what? Yes, on everything. On, let's be honest, on marriage, on my photography career, on freelance, on teaching, on previous careers. Yeah, I've thought about all of them giving up at one point or another. Whatever. How do you get through it? That's a good question. I think for me, I've been lucky enough, and it's there's a luck is a factor in I think almost anybody's success. Right place, right time. I've had at least always a sense of forward progress. It may be little, but there's always been some growth or some future challenge that I can use something that I've had before and synthesize and add it to something new and different. So an example of that is I don't do much graphic design stuff nowadays, but that's what got me started with computers and technology and creating in a new way, because mechanically I'm not good at drawing or painting or sculpting or visualizing 3 dimensions. So graphic design in 2D really helped me learn my creative side and express it. And I use many of those same skills and the technology to do photography. And photography has evolved into doing this kind of stuff in video. So I think it's a matter of seeing some growth, seeing opportunity, looking ahead, finding inspiration from peers or others who are doing it the way you like. Gabe is saying he was talking specifically about photography. My photography's evolved, Gabe, a ton. I did ask that question because I wasn't in 2020 for lots of reasons. I didn't have any wedding photos. Didn't have any wedding sessions. Had hardly any portrait stuff. Had hardly any paid gigs photography wise. So I kind of decided, you know, this is a good time. Let me pivot a little bit and do what I want to do, create the photos I want. So kind of the fine artsy fartsy stuff, photos I enjoy, and then put them on Etsy. If someone wants to buy them, great. If they want to buy prints, awesome. Make some note cards. See if, you know, make some ways that other people can access stuff. Another pivot I did was to offer photography training one-on-one online via Zoom. I've done a little bit of that. So it's finding ways to take what you're good at and like, and then transition it to the next thing. So what does that mean? How does that look for all of us? We all have to do it differently. Get to do it differently. It's, you know, what works for me won't work for someone else. Persistence is a big part of it. Patience is another part of it. Also being practical. I like to do things in three. So there were 3 P's: persistence, patience, and practical. You know, there's a time where you got to say this isn't working anymore, or it's maybe not a way I'm going to make money. It's I enjoy it, but I'm not going to make money at it. And it's for a lot of artists. Once you add money to the equation, it takes the joy out of it. So it can be a hobby, a creative outlet, without necessarily tying it to income, which might keep it betterer. Hey, let's do another Instagram joke. Dad joke. An Instagram user walks into a bar. Hashtag pub, hashtag brewery, hashtag happy hour, hashtag big place, hashtag beer, hashtag party. Did you get it? Instagram user walks into a bar. And then all the hashtags. I'm guilty of hashtags. I like hashtags. Jacob said that's super cool. I'm guessing about the office and other transitions. Thank you, Jacob. Bonus points. Jacob and who else was here? I think Emily was here from class. Who was it? Was here from class? Yes, Emily. I give you attendance points for it, but we don't have any attendance points for this quarter because it's all online. Anyway, what else? That's kind of it. Any photography questions, Q&A kind of things, which is what the whole goal was, but I rambled on for 40-some minutes. I'll take a drink and see if anybody has any specific photography questions. Way to talk with the water in front of your mouth, Michael. Obviously, I'm not trained in video. I'm not trained in photography either. Or graphic design. That's the other funny part. All the things I do professionally that pay me, I'm not trained in. I have 2 bachelor's degrees, but not in what I do. All right, I'm not seeing any photography questions right now. One of the questions I often get asked because I do a Q&A thing as an assignment in class is, you know, how do you make money at photography? And there's a joke to go with that too. The joke is, how do you make $2 million in photography? Start with $1 million. Oh, I did that joke wrong. I always do the jokes wrong. It's how do you make $1 million in photography? You start with 2 million. Sorry. Jacob is asking, are extra wide lenses useful? Oh my goodness, yes. Extra wide lenses, I love it. Just like I love telephoto because it gives a different perspective than the way I see the world with my eyes. Extra wide lenses really give you a fresh perspective. That's kind of what I'm doing with these office photos. Let me get back here for a second. I'm learning. Where's my Lightroom? There we go. So this is an extra wide photo. This is at 10 millimeters. So yeah, wide angle lenses give you fun perspectives. I feature some of those in my latest YouTube video, which is about interesting perspective. Yeah, wide angle lenses are a lot of fun. You get to see a big picture and it kind of plays with shapes, especially if you use throw in an interesting camera position relative to the subject. So yes, big fan of wide angle lenses. Yes, I think you should get one, Jacob. Get a wide angle lens. I don't remember what camera you're using. If you're like me, an APS-C lens, so the lens, so a smaller sensor, not the full frame. I have a 10 millimeter. It's a 10 to 24 wide. So if you can get somewhere around 12-ish to 10 millimeters, something that it goes that wide, that'll get you that kind of holy cow. That'll let you take real estate photographies in small spaces like this and make them look big. So they're kind of cool. My friend Gabe is asking if I got any new photography equipment. Yes, I got this lens, this 70 to 300. I love this lens. It is telephoto, close focus, pretty fun. Debbie and I are taking a road trip to Utah to visit her parents in June, and can't wait to give this a real workout then. Other gear I've gotten photography-wise is the lens that I'm recording this video with. It's a 23 millimeter f1.4 by a company called Viltrox that I hadn't heard of until about a year ago. But it is great quality. Gives me this blurry background in this tiny space, so it gives that cinematic kind of look to the YouTube vids. And sorry, train of thought as I'm multitasking and reading the comments. Yeah, so those are the photo perks. What else I get? Oh, I got a new bag that I'm going to try out. I think that's about it. I haven't done as much photo stuff. I've been investing in the gear for making this space look more interesting, hopefully, and productive. Ramping up the production value. Jacob says he has a T7i. The T7i, yeah, so that's a crop sensor. I'm not as familiar with wide angle options in Canon land, especially on the crop stuff. I know Sigma makes some really good third-party lenses that often are a little less expensive than maybe Canon stuff if price is an issue, which it always is, at least for me too. What else? Canon has a few. I'm not familiar. Again, I'm not as real familiar with what all the options are available in Canon land. So apologies there. I know there are many though. I know there are many. Yes, get a wide angle, get a telephoto. It's nice to have those options. Although having said that, I love to tell a story of another former student who I've photographed weddings with. For the longest time, she had one prime lens. She had a 50 millimeter f1.8, and that was her only lens. And she ran a photography business with it. She still does. She has more lenses now, but for quite a few years, that was her only lens. So we all work within our limits. We all say it can't be done until we have to do it. Just like I said, oh, I can't teach this class online, and now I teach it online and have transitioned those skills into this YouTube thing. So yeah, you never know. One thing, again, my YouTube friend Tom, I call him that because he's a friend on YouTube. But anyway, one of the things he says that I love in his all his gear videos is start with what you have. Work with that until it gets to a point where it doesn't work anymore. And what does that mean? It means lots of different things. Sometimes, at least for me, it's friction. Like if it takes me an hour to set this up, I'm not going to set it up. So everything that's here now for my video is pretty much all I have to do is clip on the mic and set up the hair light, because I don't leave that on all the time. But everything else is set to go. If I didn't have that, it would be too much friction and I wouldn't record videos. So with photography gear, it's the same way. If you're not creating photos because you don't have you like wide angle stuff and you don't have wide angle lens, then it's time to get a wide angle lens. Or if you need, I like close up, so I need to get either a macro lens or an extension tube. So if what you have gets in the way of doing what you want, then it's time to maybe add that to the priority list. figure out the budget. Yeah. Gear's fun. Gear is fun. Can I show you a really I'm going to show it to you anyway. I'm going to ask and then show it to you anyway. I found, and I don't remember where I saw this, but it's just the coolest doggone thing. It combines my love of Lego, so my Lego Saturn V back here, with photography. You may have, so look at my, here's my XT2. Focus. Focus. This doesn't have the best video focus. See right here? So the Fuji cameras have a flash sync port on the front, and it comes with a cover when you buy the camera new. It is the first thing to fall off the camera the third time you take it out of the camera bag, and it disappears somewhere. It's right next to the remote, I'm sure, in the couch cushions. But someone on, I think it was on Instagram, I noticed they were covering it with a little Lego piece. So this is covered now with the little single Lego round piece. It's a perfect fit. So if you have a camera with a sync port on it, just put a little Lego, so you pick your color if you have multicolors. So yeah, little camera hack, cheap, makes it personal. There you go. Oh yeah, go buy Sean Tucker's book too. I can't wait for it. It doesn't come out till August, but what else can I help you spend your money on? Oh, let's talk about chocolate. Non-photography things. Chocolate. This is my new favorite chocolate bar by far. Tony's Chocolonely. Yeah, this is good stuff. Once you had this, you will never have a Hershey bar. I haven't had M&M's since I got this. This is the real deal. Yeah, so that's what I got. My clock says, let's check in with, yeah, it's 10:50, so we've been doing this for 50 minutes. I think I'm going to kind of call it here. I feel like I've covered what I was thinking to talk about. And I've got another meeting at noon I should prep for. And yeah, so here was my first YouTube live stream, that is. And 2 years from now, I look back on this one and laugh and cry a little bit. But yeah, there we go. Oh, Jacob has just chimed in with a question. Oh, I have an important one. When I take photos, I get blurred magenta and green edges around objects and subjects. Yes, I know what that is. It's called chromatic aberration. Chromatic aberration is a result of certain light frequencies, which is color, traveling at different speeds, so they get focused at different distances, something like that. It's fixable in Lightroom. So hang on a second. Let me get really quick into Lightroom. Switch that over. Where is Lightroom? Lightroom there is that number. There we go. Let me find a photo that has some of that and show you the fix. Let me see if I can find a photo. Do I have one in here? Hello? Ah, the spinning wheel of death. Spinning wheel, beach ball of death. My camera's working. My computer's working hard. I know I need an M1 something. Here we go. Let's see if I can find a photo with some. Usually you'll notice it on tree branches against a bright sky. So let me see if I can find something like that. Not in there. Let's go back here. Give me just a second. Was not prepped for this. Mingle amongst yourselves, chat. Maybe here we might get a little bit of it. And different. This is a function of your lens, and one place different. So this is one reason why lenses are more expensive. For example, my eyeglasses, my new pair of eyeglasses, I think the coatings on them, the anti-reflective coatings, are actually more than the lenses. I don't know what unicorn tears they're made from or what special secret sauce, but it is expensive stuff. So the front element of your lens will have some of that coating. Some of the interior elements will also have that coating potentially, and that's one of the reasons some lenses are very expensive. So let me zoom in here a little bit and see if we have any, oops, come on, if we have any on this. I'm getting a little bit, but not a lot. Let me get back to develop mode. Hang on a sec. Sometimes I go into Lightroom voice when I'm talking. It's just kind of this weird semi-monotone. I'll try not to do that. This has a little bit of it. Let me show you how to correct it regardless. The way you correct this is in the lens corrections panel in the develop module, and go to the profile, and if you leave it automatic, I find that sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You can go to the manual mode, and you have these D fringes. So what you have is an amount slider. How much do you want to defringe? So basically it's going to bring it inwards a little bit. And what's the color range? So if you've got blue, you might want to stretch the purple side to the blue. And if it's, I usually turn these up somewhere around 9 or 10, kind of right in the middle. And then I just stretch these out. And that'll often help. Now, sometimes what happens if you do this is you might get a little bit of now white haloing around the edges. So every photo is going to need a little fine tuning of this, depending on your lens and all that stuff that's going on for your specific camera. But you do it down here in the lens corrections, try the manual stuff, do the amount, and stretch the colors to include a wider color range, and see how that works. Hope that helps, Jacob. Did it help? Let me get back over here to Ecamm. Okay. Gabe, how many countries have I been to and photographed? 2. Well, I've been to Canada, I've been to Mexico, and I've been to the UK. I've only really I did some photographs in Mexico for youth group trips back in the day. But London in Great Britain was the only other place I've been. Can't wait to go back. We were planning to go back last year. We hope to go back in 2022. We'll go to the fine country of Idaho and Utah this summer. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, Jacob said thanks. Emily said enjoyed listening. Thank you. Roger Barnett. Well done. Well, thank you, Roger. I don't know Roger. He's my new YouTube friend. Thank you. Yeah. Well, thanks, everybody. I think an hour is a good time. No commercial breaks. You got 56 minutes of programming. I learned some things. I hope you did too. Thanks for joining me. I'll do these at least probably once a month, maybe more. Yeah. So, as I like to say at the end of the videos, if you like this, subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate that. Give the like for training the algorithm in quality YouTube video content. I hope you stay well, and I hope you have fun creating photos, and I appreciate your time with me today, and look forward to seeing you down the road or on the screen. So I'm going to say bye and hit the end video button. So bye for now.